Alright folks, welcome back to what could be the last video of Let's Play Bloodstained Ritual of the Night with the Mysterious JG. We need to see if all of our friends have made it back to town. And by all of our friends, I mean that one guy, because, you know, there's not really that many other folks.
I finished the harvest.
I don't have anything.
Oh, that's too bad. Drop by if you turn anything up.
Well, what, don't you hold on to, like, cuts of... Never mind.
No, all the dead will be remembered.
What dead? Get it? Because I don't remember them. It's a joke. I think I'll just let the farmer rest, because we don't have... Ah, here he is.
Oh, Miriam, look who made it home, huh? Well done, eh?
Bow down before me in my fancy crown and scarf.
Thank heavens for miracles.
I know. Sorry for, before. Here, take this.
And he kicks her in the, nuts. Adversity ring. Well, there you go. So...
Oh, what is it?
Oh, just a little family heirloom. I think it'll serve you better than me.
It has the magical power to make you warp to the wrong place.
Thank you, Benjamin. I appreciate it.
And it is... let's see. Causes status inflictions to increase your power. Nah. I mean, it probably has some, like, interesting New Game Plus applications, but... Yeah, it's for New Game Plus. Like, literally, the second to last and last... Like, the last boss is what's left, is really... We have two bosses left, but it is a... Like, you go from one fight directly into the other kind of deal. Who do we want for this final showdown, by the way? Because now that I think about it, we've got Bloodbringer at level 62, and we got Caraboose at level 55. Both fully upgraded. Doesn't really matter, but Bloodbringer's been a good friend to us. Etc.
Oh, hello, miss.
And not really that interested in talking to you. Let's check our archives. Quests 100%. Demons 100%. Shards 100%. There's weapons. Weapons and equipment is where we're really lacking. Like, only half of the weapons in the game have I ever actually owned. Items, I'm surprised at how low that is. Maybe having it in your possession once and then selling it doesn't count as you having it. Like, in some games, it's like you must have at some point owned this item. Maybe you just need to have them all. But, Techniques 19.05, that has to do with how many you have mastered. So, I think we found all the techniques in bookshelves, but I don't know that for sure. I don't think we found less than 20% of them, though.
Are you eating properly? What are we transmuting?
Is that really the last thing you're going to take? The last thing he's going to say to us in the story of the game is, "Are you eating properly?" Anyway. Alright, let's go finish the game. This could be a long one with the credits and all. And I haven't really stopped and thought of something to say, like to talk over the credits, but we know we've completed all the optional quests. We've got the best gear that I could ever really be interested in having for the final battle. We'll need dimension shift optimizer, weapon damage. Yeah, this is pretty much what we need. The one thing we never really did is develop a really high-end magical attack, like acid spray. That was a good attack for a decent chunk of the early to mid game, but like it is not a good attack now, and we never bothered to replace it. I'm just whacking shit with the greatsword. I suppose if I wanted to be really impatient, I could bust out the accelerator shard and just dash through these rooms. I did not think I would take damage from that guy, actually. So,
Dimension shift.
this room you obviously can't clear until you've beaten that boss.
Dimension shift.
No real reason to come up here except that because you could skip right from here to, you know, down there. It's possible.
Dimension shift.
99.3.
Dimension shift.
Capacity max. Capacity max. What a time to suddenly get capacity max. Could switch to the gun at this point. It would be a final boss. You might as well just be lobbing whatever you got. 99.6. 99.7. We are going to wrap this game up with 99.7 map completion, folks. Darn it. Don't know what we missed. Wouldn't even ask you guys to try to figure it out. I am pretty sure that if we just do a complete check of the map, we will not find any actual holes in the walls. It's just going to be something where, without changing the appearance of the map, there was a little nook, a corner of the room you didn't hit, some kind of cranny, something you had to whack with the sword. Wait a second. It's making it look like we never went into that room. That can't be right. Didn't we fight a boss in there? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's the shading for a save room. I'd say there's a bunch of little rooms like that. I mean, you tell me if you see a gap. You can timestamp it if there's a gap on the screen, but I'm pretty sure there's just something where we didn't go all the way into the corner of a room. Oh, please don't tell me there's something on Galleon Minerva. We didn't go all the way to the very, very far end of the room, and you have to go just a step further to trigger that map completion, or there's something on a wall that if you didn't hit it and get the heart max or whatever, you don't get map completion. Something like that we missed. Gotta be. Or one of these rooms that like looks like a little self-contained area with nothing in it, like there or here, has a secret entrance that I never found. That's possible too. But I'm gonna settle for 99.7% completion, I think. Dimension shift we will replace with heretical grinder. We got pretty powerful actually. It's a fun one, but bolide blast, ruinous rude. See, some of these ones probably were pretty powerful if you leveled them up. 8-bit fireball might have been pretty good actually. But we're going to get back to our old acid stream. Wherever the heck it went. Acid jet. Healing, optimizer, welcome company, bloodbringer. Let's do it. Oh, so you're evil. You're not pretending that you're good. Well, she's really not pretending she's good. She's turned into like Crystal Demon Lady. They're not like the various female characters who help out in the Castlevania games in the past, who usually don't turn out to be evil.
Gramarye has failed me. Alfred was afraid of what you could do with the shards, but not I.
I think you should be afraid of what I can do with the shards, because I'm about to shove them up your ass.
Look at you. Is that what you wanted? The crystal? You betrayed us, Dominique.
Dominique betrays.
Oh, don't think me ungrateful. I have you and Johannes to thank for teaching me the alchemist's lore and how to control the shards.
Okay, well, if you're grateful, would you like not destroy the world or whatever it is you're going to do?
Shards, I might add, which you gave to me of your own will. Your sacrifice has become my strength.
Now, I sold her maybe 5 shards over the course of the entire game, but as a plot thing, yes, that was supposed to be a way you could earn. They really don't make selling shards profitable enough for it to, you know, this plot. Well, yeah, like if grinding for shards for money worked, better than it does, this would make more sense.
Why are you doing this?
Good question. Like, it doesn't seem to be anything in it for her in creating a castle of demon monsters.
Because once again, the demons appeared, and once again God stayed silent.
He needs to speak up.
While his servants were slaughtered mercilessly, one by one.
Okay.
So I began to wonder, what if there is no God?
And then I wondered, what if God was one of us? Just some old dude on a bus.
What if the Lord we grovel and pray before is a lie, and our faith draws power from some other nameless, unspeakable thing?
That was an interesting noise from my laptop to make. My laptop's like, I object. No way, God's real. I will tell you, I have wondered about the first half of that before. I don't throw in the word grovel. But no, I have wondered, hey, is the Lord people pray to really doesn't exist? I've wondered about that. The second half, what if our faith draws power from some other nameless, unspeakable thing? That's more of a Breath of Fire 2 question. And I think that's kind of mixed up. What they wanted to say, what if some other nameless, unspeakable thing draws power from our faith? That's, I believe, what she means to say. Because what if our faith draws power from some nameless, unspeakable thing would be more like, we have faith because of our own inner whatever. No, what she means to say is, what if some other nameless, unspeakable thing draws power from our faith? Like, there's an evil creature that is absorbing the power of our prayer. And that's the plot of Breath of Fire 2, amongst other fictions over the years. But, so it's like one of these cases where the dialogue is not as good as it thinks it is because they put in all these fancy words and then occasionally get them in the wrong order. Also, you can see a little golden coin floating above the dialogue.
If so, I wash my hands of it.
Well, you want to become the thing everyone prays to? Is that...
Because God can rot. I decided to seek a higher power. The power to slay gods.
Wait, are you saying God doesn't exist or God does exist and you think he can stick it, brother? Because I'm not sure what you're saying.
Do you realize how many people have died as a result?
Is Dominique directly responsible? I'm a little confused by the story. She and... what's his name? Starts with A. I cannot bring myself to remember. It's not Arthur. Arthur's Technos. She and your, like... Johannes's master were like the two in charge of this whole project, and then he tried to stop it, and she wanted to see it go forward. But didn't the church already decide to summon demons, and it just went farther than they meant for it to? I'm confused. But yeah, she is definitely somewhat responsible. But I thought she was taking orders from the church.
They deserve to die because they were weak. And more will follow until I obtain all I desire.
So that's weak villainy. That's comic book cartoon villainy right there, of course. We've now reached the samurai showdown level of villainy, where Amakusa Shirotokisara says that he will seek spiritual enlightenment through murdering people, and that the weak deserve to die to feed the strong. Because he's not a nuanced villain. Of course, that's also a game that features villainous lines like, you will never see yourself alive again, etc. It is, it is a game about a female priestess being corrupted by the powers of darkness, so I guess I've hit on more connections between Samurai Showdown 2 and this game than I originally set out to.
This whole mess wasn't enough for you?
Well, I admit, it was a bit of a mess, wasn't it? We sure have made a mess of summoning demons to destroy mankind.
If the last summoning had been enough, I wouldn't have had to bring you here.
Oh, you mean you paid for my ticket on Galleon Minerva?
You're after a more powerful demon. Sheeple's crystal wasn't enough to summon it, so you needed mine instead.
He did have a puny little crystal.
Smart girl.
Well, not really.
I like that. But your crystal was too clean, too pure.
What is I like that in a salacious way supposed to be even suggesting? Whatever.
So I made sure you would obtain shards and acclimate yourself to demonic power.
Oh, and you were so into it, grinding off screen for more shards like a good little pawn of evil.
Then Gremory could possess you, after the battle with Jebel had worn you down.
So you were in league with Gremory and Zangetsu, and like everybody was secretly in a plan with Dominique without knowing they were going to be betrayed.
If Zangetsu hadn't betrayed me...
He could be dying at the hands of demons right now.
Doing the right thing isn't a betrayal.
Well, I mean, there's a whole bunch of people... Well, never mind, I was about to get political. I won't bother. Other than to say, still technically a betrayal, just probably justified. And look at how angry they both look. Ooh, they are unhappy with each other at this moment.
You know what?
Well, now she's all happy
I
again.
never expected to be put in a corner like this.
Nobody puts Dommy in a corner.
You leave me no choice but to play my final card.
Submerge! Huh?
I will use my crystal and the Libelo Gaiath to summon Baal, the ultimate demon.
Isn't that what she wanted to do anyway?
Do you realize what will happen to you?
She'll probably get killed by Baal. Oh, I should have watched the last episode or two of the 800 video Diablo 2 playthrough with Bobo and Grimace so I could remember what Baal says. Because I remember that Mephisto goes, "You're too late," but I don't really remember what Baal does other than occasionally go
Do you?
Yoo-hoo.
You don't. So I'll tell you.
Ooh, she is sassy.
There's a reason Jebel survived 10 years ago.
What does he have to do with this?
I killed him dead.
It was in his blood. An exorcist, like me. Our blood suppressed the crystal corruption and effectively spared his life.
But you're gonna die.
And now I have surpassed him. I command the crystal through Enochian script.
So she thinks she can control Baal, the king of demons.
No demon is too powerful for me to summon, even if I cannot keep it here forever.
I might have to sort of do it on a piecemeal basis, by the hour. But boy howdy will I have control over him for the 15 minutes of the stretch that I have him here.
But the process is slow, because I can see the summoning isn't complete.
The summoning is complete. Sorry, Warcraft 3 and Necromancers just overruled you.
Do you really think you can stop me before then?
I kind of do. I have really high-end gear.
Oh, yes, I do. You don't understand what power is for. You wield it stupidly, arrogantly.
And you have fat
And now
ankles.
you will pay the price.
So she's got some neat crystal skills. Ow. But yeah, she really can't stand up.
Baal, I summon thee to my
Baal! The bloody sword there, interfering with the dialogue. And now the final boss, which is going to be a bit underwhelming because of how leveled up and powerful we are. But it's still pretty cool design. Baal is apparently a room with 3 demon faces. Who doesn't seem to care about being poisoned.
Hello there.
Oh, hi. So the Baal fight is mostly just jumping around, trying to find moments where you can hit something. And moving around doesn't help you that much because they cycle around, so if you just find a place where you're able to land a hit, you can just kind of switch which one you're hitting. She is growing out of the Muppet head. Well, the lizard Muppet head. Did I just win? Oh wow, that's faster than I even expected. I'm sorry, guys. I didn't think it would be that fast. Yeah, but she's growing out of a lizard Muppet head. They have like a pretty cool-looking Delta attack thing that I didn't expect it to end that quickly. I apologize. Stalling driver, please. What? I don't even understand what my laptop is doing right now. But I'm gonna go back to The timer.
Dominique. She could have done so much good, but...
But, well, she was really, really evil, so I suppose her doing evil is a thing we should have expected.
I know.
Wait. The Liber Logaeth.
Did you check it out from OD's library?
The book that started it all. What are you going to do with it?
I think we give it to OD. Have him keep an eye on it for us. He seems trustworthy.
The same thing the Master was trying to do.
Try to take over the world. The pinky,
Before
and
he
the...
died, he inscribed Enochian letters onto each of the castle's structural weaknesses.
Really? At what point did this happen? And what the... Oh, my laptop is freaking out here. It is what I had my timer on. So hopefully that will come back. Yes, it did. Okay, I don't know what's happening with my computers. Either of them. They're all blowing up on me here.
Now, I will use the book to perform a rite here at the heart of the castle.
Meanwhile, the ending will be taken over by JG talking about his computer issues. So, so what's-his-face set up Enochian runes at structural weak points in the castle as a form of alchemic explosive destruction. What's the term? The actual term, like when you blow up buildings. There's a real term for it. It's demolition. So he's a member of the alchemical demolition. Axe, smash, crush, etc.
The rite will activate the Enochian script and send the castle and demons back from whence they came.
Toledo.
So that's what Alfred was trying to accomplish.
You know, if he had mentioned that to us at any point, we might have been able to help him and get him out of this alive.
We need to begin. Stand back, Miriam.
That spot we are standing on is apparently one of the places that will blow up. I guess just you can't be too close to the book. Wouldn't they want to leave the castle before they did that? They're in the glacial tombs. That doesn't seem like a good place to be hanging out. I mean, cinematic where they just go back to the village would have worked. Anyway. And thus, not Castlevania is destroyed. And we get the good end, which is not really that amazing.
It's over.
It's not a game that was about story, primarily.
Yes. You've made the world right again.
I mean, it was actually Albrecht, or Alfred, and Zangetsu, and me, but you were there too.
Not without sacrifice. Jebel, Alfred, Zangetsu.
Well, yeah, and thousands of unnamed people.
Jebel's fate was already sealed. There was nothing you could have done. And the Master and Zangetsu made their own choices. They fought gladly and proudly for what they believed in.
The Master, the Taskmaster, Shark Attack, Zodiac, all the members of the Dungeon of Doom did their part.
Lives like theirs deserve to be celebrated.
So let's go get drunk, woo!
True. And demons still remain in this world. We can grieve later, after finishing the last of them off.
Sure. Let's go party. I mean, finish off the demons, then party.
That reminds me. The Master took note of how I was forestalling your corruption and suggested some improvements.
The Master likes beautiful women.
I think I might be able to stop the crystal from overtaking you permanently.
But you just kind of... You won't die. Which... I hadn't been putting a lot of thought into this, but yeah, part of the background of this was that it was expected that her efforts to save the world would cost her own life. They didn't want it that much. It was like, oh yeah, it's, by the way, I figured out how, you don't have to die. I just thought I'd throw that in at the last second.
Really?
Oh, cool.
I can't make any promises, but yes, I think...
You know that at this point, if you don't do it, you've pretty much given me reason to hope. You kind of promised.
Well, thank you, Johannes.
Thank you, Danny.
You're very welcome.
That's not what that says.
Let's go home.
I'll try not to let you down, you know, as a man, but look at me.
All right.
Let's go not have me die. And the dramatic end scene where she leaves the sword behind. Will we get a view of a silly golden thing? Yes, we will. Silly golden thing swirling over her head as she leaves the Zanratsuken attack. Sword behind. Saving. Do not turn off the power. Bloodstained. Ritual of the Night. Or Ritual F the Night. FTN. Taz here with the FTN title. Here are the Japanese voice actors, which you didn't hear, but they get their first credits because, I don't know, because this is Jap's own land of the RPG insane. Here are the English voice actors, the ones we actually heard. David Hayter's the only one of these group that I can claim to recognize their name, but there wasn't a ton of voice acting to be done, but what voice acting there was done nicely. You know, it was pretty good. Staffs. There are various staffs that work in this game, it would appear. Director Shutaro, who is Curry. That's cute. Is Vampire Hunter M going to be in this? I'm gonna have like. I feel like as a tribute to the original Castlevania, everybody should be using fake names so they can't be hired away from Konami, which none of them are working for. Mike Motoda, excuse me. Adam Jones. Mike Jones. So we got an international crew here. We have a Pasquini. We have Woodley. Merchant. Actually, it's a pretty Western crew at this point. Oh, these are global managers. Never mind. These are not like the core programmer folks who are probably mostly Japanese, I would guess. I can skip through these credits at speed. Seems disrespectful to do so, but... and there is a little tiny, not really all that exciting, but it's their post-credit bit of story that we can see as well. So, I guess this is the time for final reflections on the game, because I don't know that I'm going to go back and do anything more with it. You know, we ended up with 99.7% map completion, but I don't think the 0.3 that's left is going to be anything worthy of getting its own video, even if I do figure out what I missed. So, this is the first game I played after getting out of the hospital, after my first cancer operation, and... like, literally, I was staying in my apartment with my mom staying with me for a couple of days, like, about a week. Because I literally needed help getting in and out of bed. She was, like, making my meals and helping me with real basic stuff. Because you don't... Not married and have no plans on that score, but you don't really think, like... how much you need other people to be around until you're in a situation like that. And I would play this game because, you know, I would try to be like, hey, do you want to watch something on Netflix? You want to do this? You want to do that? But occasionally you'd just be like, do whatever you would do if I wasn't here. I'm just going to sit and read. Don't worry about me. And this game, I would play. And I remember having to explain to her, like, just feeling embarrassed. Like, she didn't care, but I was like... killing the same enemy over and over again, and I was trying to explain to her what grinding in video games, and like, you know, it's like, I know that probably doesn't sound very fun. Like, you're probably asking why would you want to play a game where you have to do that? But there is something, and she was like, it's okay, I don't, it's fine. But I remember being mildly embarrassed by the story, the voice acting, and the fantasy setting. You know, when your mom, who doesn't play video games, is hanging around while you're playing, because she'll sit there and read her book when I'm just playing the game, but she would look up when there was a story scene and watch, and then kind of go back to her Sudokus or her whatever she was doing. But yeah, I remember experiencing this game for the first time in a slightly unusual way, which is with my mom, just kind of hanging around in the room the whole time. And thinking, I'm glad this game isn't just a little bit more overtly sexual than it is, because they do give you a fairly busty young heroine in a period costume, which is a thing for some people. But they don't have her going around like half-naked Lara Croft styles. So I remember thinking, yeah, this game could have been more embarrassing. This game is mildly embarrassing. if your mom is watching you play, but it could be a lot worse. It's not like I was sitting there trying to play Rumble Roses Double X. The other game, because like the games I asked Bobo to pick me up, like I paid for them, but I was like, here, pick these up. I'll get you back later. I just wanted to have them in my house when I come home. Was this, and then Samurai Showdown game for PS4, which I still haven't played. I recorded a video of me jumping around. I still haven't actually played that for whatever reason. But yeah, this was the game that was like, I figured this would just, if I'm stuck in the house with nothing to do, a big Metroidvania game would be just the ticket, and it was. I had not finished by the time Ma took off, because like I said, I wasn't playing it all day long. Like occasionally I'd play it, but other times I would be like, hey, let's find something on Netflix that we can both watch. Like we watched TV series and stuff, and like, hey, I'm going to try to go. Once I got the catheter out, I was trying to go for like short walks for health and stuff like that. But that's what this game reminds me of. It's a fun game on its own merits that reminds me of recovering from a surgery and feeling a million times, like having anxiety and just discomfort with still having a medical catheter in and trying to get that taken care of, and just feeling weak. And as much as I loved having my mom there were some aspects of privacy I was going to enjoy when I finally had my place back to myself, but mostly just like as weak and powerless as I felt, I associate this game with not being in a hospital. Like, I associate this game with like, hey, the world is returning to normal gradually. I'm chilling out playing video games, and I am not dead. So that is one of the positive associations that this game has for me, not being dead. On its own merits, though, it's a damn good game. I guess Mighty Number 9 is like, which I've never played, but it's like the example of a Kickstarter that just didn't live up to people's expectations, and people were so excited about an old school Mega Man game with all the charm of the Mega Man series from the actual people who were responsible for some of the old games. And I never played it. I've heard various things about how it fell through. And there we see OD being hit with your flying headbutt attack. Clan Game Grumps. Oh boy. I guess if the Game Grumps guys got people to contribute to this, that's fine. But no, I've never played that game to see why. With greatest mutawup comes great responsibility. Okay, whatever. I guess if you paid enough money, you get to have some dumbass message scroll across the screen in the credits. But yeah, that Mighty Number 9 is like the all-time example of a Kickstarter that got a lot of enthusiasm and just let people down. I think this is like the opposite. I didn't find out that this was a Kickstarter till the game had already come out. I probably would have donated a little something. I wouldn't have gone crazy like I did for like the Mystery Science Theater Kickstarter, but I probably would have donated something. But a lot of people were really excited about this, and other than some really just kind of like, all right, don't be a dick, people who were upset that you could pay for DLC, that like items that were originally for early backers were available for additional prices DLC, and there are some people who are upset because like, I don't want anyone else to be able to experience this content. I paid extra so that I could have it and other people couldn't, which just seems like a douche move. But other than a little bit of that, I've never really heard a lot of people being upset with how this came out, feeling like it didn't live up to everything that they were hoping for. Leave them in half with the mighty Deathbringer for the strength and honor of the Orcish Horde. Okay, people, come on. Come on, really, the Orcish Horde? Come on. But yeah, Giga Ganon is a contributor. Giga Ganon. But yeah, like this game is apparently like the template for a game where everybody's really happy with how it came out and people are already excited about the sequels. The one of the stretch goals was to make a classic like 8-bit style game, which did come out. I believe it's called Bloodstained Circle of the Moon, something of the Moon. That's out. You can buy that. You can play that. It's a separate standalone game that you can get, and it already has a sequel that's in the works. Like the sequel for this game, I don't know if they're working on a sequel for this game or not. But there's a sequel for the old 8-bit style game, because you'd have to think that's going to take a lot less time to put together than a full-fledged PS4/5 era Metroidvania game. Thanks, Iga. Stemlo, watch out for snakes. And everyone who worked on this game. Hey, Aaron, how does Darude Sandstorm go again? I guess that makes sense to whoever wrote it. Stefan Powell, dude. But yeah, fuck yeah. This is, it's a really good game. A lot of people contributed to the making of it. I don't know if the future of AAA games needs to be all AAA games have to be fan-sourced. That seems kind of crap. Then again, the big risk of making a AAA game is that they are super expensive, and if they are not a massive hit with a huge audience, they will cost money. That's other people spend a lot more time thinking and learning and reading about the gaming industry than I do, but that's why there's like this weird thing where you've got indie games and you've got super expensive AAA games, which are getting fewer and fewer in number, and there's nothing in between, it seems like. And even AAA, it's like it's going down the same road that Hollywood movies are going down, where it's like no original ideas. We'd rather do a remake of an intellectual property that's already successful than come up with a new intellectual property. It's not even about having original storytelling or game making. It's like, without the Castlevania license, people were like, it would have been very difficult for this game to get made, and it had to be like a fan-sourced thing. So going forward, could the success of this as a fan-sourced game convince a AAA studio to back it, even though they can't use the name Castlevania? Who knows? Check out Complete the Quick Survey and get personalized game reviews. What? I don't... You seem to be advertising something that I haven't... Even if I wanted to go track that down, I have no idea where to go. Anyway. Dana Pepper. Nos Effect. Deathy Face. But yeah, like, I know Bean is excited because the Criterion Collector's Legend Edition of the original Mass Effect trilogy is coming out, and I just can't help but thinking, shouldn't the people who put that together have made a new cool game that we can enjoy? Because I already played Mass Effect. Yeah. Anyway, to my mom, dad, and loving wife, Nathali, thank you for letting me be a part of this game. Radu. I guess they let him, because if any of them had like put their foot down, he wouldn't have been allowed to spend the money. From this day on, Miriam will hunt the night. Duis felt Sakurans, also you're welcome, witty. I don't know. Maybe I should have sped this up after all. Slick Rick Darula. Oh! Another Spectre and Courageous. Looks like maybe we're getting to the end. Oh, never mind. Special thanks. It's going to be another 800 names here. Can, Zerfall was saying this on a stream the other night. The Shovel Knight got a special thanks. Can I get a and you special thanks to me, the player? Come on. Give me a special thanks. Korean front. Oh no. Lethal, the secret Koreans. Cooperative companies sound like a bunch of communists. I didn't see a special thanks from me. I'm waiting there, Iga Stemlo. Epic Games Inc. Cool name, but I can't help but think like 10 different game companies have been called some variation on Epic Games over the years. Thank you for playing. See, I got a thanks, kind of. They didn't say special thanks to me, but they did thank me for playing. So, that feels pretty good. So I could see a follow-up. Like, I would definitely play a follow-up to this. Something where you could play as different characters, switch between characters would be a lot of fun. Although that makes things infinitely more complicated if the different characters have different movement abilities. If they really are different characters. Which is why usually these games have that as like a New Game Plus type of feature. Hey, wait a second. There's a post-credit scene. I didn't skip anything. Why didn't I get it? That's weird. I really don't understand what happened there. Okay, there's supposed to be a post-credit scene. There's no dialogue, but like we stuck the Zanretsu sword in the ground and walked off, thinking that Zenketsu was dead. And he shows up after we've gone and just looks off to where we went, kind of nods, and silently reclaims his sword because he's really still alive. And that's the shock ending. And we didn't get it. What the hell? Anyway, there is classic mode, boss revenge, randomizer, speedrun, and boss rush. I am just curious. Okay, never mind. I was just curious if you select a save file from the main game and being powerful in the main game affects it. It does not, apparently. So it would be silly, I think, if it did. So I don't know why we didn't get that ending scene, because I got it before when I beat it off screen. Oops. You can look it up. It's not anything particularly dramatic. But that's it. That's Bloodstained Ritual of the Night. There have been several Let's Plays over the years I've ended this same way, but I would say there's a small chance I'll come back and revisit this with something if I come up with an idea for something I want to do. But I'm pretty sure this is going to be it for this series. So I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you'll join me in the future for future gameplay adventures. But for now, may your crystals always impale you and make you go, ah! But may your love interest find a way to stop the crystals from taking over right at the very end of the game, after you've already defeated all the demons. And the wind be always at your back. Good night, folks.